So it's a weeknight in Sydney.
It is.
It's a cold night. It's winter here in Australia at the moment.
Still winter for a whole week.
And we decided to go for a little drive, didn't we, Martin?
That's right.
Straight through the middle of Sydney City in the MX-5 to share with you some of the sights, Martin.
The sights and the sounds of the city.
And the smells, all with this open-top MX-5. Now, the MX-5's been going well, hasn't it, Martin?
The MX-5 is fantastic.
150 kilowatts at the wheels now.
About that, 147 at the rear wheels, makes choo-choo noises, really fun to drive, man. So much fun.
Lots more. Actually, let's talk about the MX-5 later in the video and what's going to be happening to it next. This road that we're on now is Parramatta Road. This eventually will turn into George Street, which is the main street that goes right through the middle of the city and down to iconic things like the Opera House and the Harbour Bridge.
Yep.
And if you head west towards the Blue Mountains, you get to the next biggest city part of Sydney, which is Parramatta, and that's where I used to live, just up from the jail. I had some funny experiences there.
Yeah.
Look, I had so many funny things happen. One day, a guy downstairs, somebody just stole all his flowers. Just stole them all out of his garden.
And did he put them on, like he lived
he worked for the local newspaper. So he went and contacted the local newspaper and he got himself a front page story saying John wants his flowers back. And I went and saw him one day and I said, I think I know who stole your flowers. And he's like, how do you know? And we went to his garden and there was a trail of dirt leading from his garden into the doorway of one of the other apartments. The other funny thing that happened there is that nobody could ever find my apartment.
Yep.
So I got etched a thing out of metal, cost like $200, that said what the street number was. One of the guys there stole it and tried to sell that to cash converters. And I had to go and get it back off him and explain that no one would buy it because it was actually etched with our address.
Yeah.
So no one's going to buy it. Like, who's going to buy 32 Smith Street unless you live at 32 Smith Street?
See, Western Sydney's, it's an exciting place to be.
I enjoyed my time there. I had my 180 when I lived there. I loved it. We're coming up to Broadway now. This is we've got Broadway Shopping Centre here.
This is kind of where Parramatta Road and the city kind of join, and now from Broadway is George Street, and that's the city officially.
Yeah, that's
it's
right.
Like the gateway.
And even though this is kind of a main thoroughfare to get around, this is the street that a lot of tourists come and visit and they go, I went to George Street, there's the QVB and some other touristy things and tourist shops, and they feel like they've seen Sydney. It's actually best to venture off the main streets with any travel. Same with when we've been to Japan, hey.
That's true.
Hong Kong, Singapore.
To my right is Sydney University. That's pretty exciting. If you're into unis and stuff, it's I'm pretty sure it's the oldest one we have.
It's a big one.
It's big.
Last week when I was driving past, they were rioting out the front, police and everything.
They
wanted more condoms in the cafeteria or something, I don't know.
That's like when we were in Canada, the same thing happened. The students were having riots.
Oh, actually.
Arrived off the plane and it's like, rah.
I do know what happened. The student, don't quote me on this, but the student body made a magazine that featured the private parts of like 20 girls on the cover. It was kind of some kind of statement, and they said we can't actually put it out, it's pornography, so we need to cover the cover with like black censored marks.
Yeah.
All the magazines got distributed, the black censored marks were see-through.
Whoops.
So there was a bit of a problem there. That's what happened.
That's more Broadway facts.
Broadway facts. There's kind of not a lot to do in Broadway. There's Broadway Shopping Centre, which is the medical centre. There's a lovely lady there who, every time we travel, Martin, she likes to stick needles in me and she laughs at me as she does it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, she's really cool. She'll go, where are you travelling this time? How's the show? Just show in the arm.
This is also near where Central Station is, and a lot of people who come here, tourist tips, we're going to give you some tourist tips. A lot of people come here will stay near Central Station. Now, in a lot of cities, especially in Europe, staying near Central Station, all Central Stations can be a bit dodgy, but staying near Central Station can be right in the centre. That's not necessarily true for this particular city. The centre is based around the harbour, I would say.
I guess so. I mean, the other thing, though, about coming to Sydney, which is good, is that the airport is serviced by taxis, which would only cost you $20 to the city, or you could get a train. Unlike Japan, flying to Tokyo, get a taxi to the city is like the equivalent of about $250 Australian dollars.
Sounds about right.
Very expensive. Or you can get the bus, which is I think $25 each or something.
Yeah.
Martin, I'd like to hear your MX-5 in all its glory. We're about to get a green light. Yeah, just a little bit of glory. Legal glory.
It doesn't take much to make it.
I'd like to
noise.
hear some choo-choo noises, please. Oh, wow. That's awesome.
It's like half throttle, man.
Wow.
It's just so, it loves it.
Very, very cool.
Yeah, Forester turbo goodness.
That's right, so I forget that. That is the
Such a good turbo, man, for this car.
It's
just
perfect. It is perfect.
Turbo
now,
Yoda did good.
Normally this part of the street that we would be now would be bustling with cars on a Friday and Sunday night. This is where people come down to show their kind of modified cars and eat some Maccas and show everyone's their kebab. But tonight it's midweek, so it's pretty quiet tonight.
Quiet, but that's good because it means we're not going to be stuck in traffic the entire night, because that does happen on the weekends.
Yeah, it does. But we're going to be heading right through the centre. Well, there's a speed camera on these lights now, Marty.
Everywhere.
That must be new.
Yeah, right there.
Didn't used to be. Speed through the city is generally around 50 kilometres an hour in Sydney, which in miles is, what's that, 35 miles or something?
Yeah, about that.
About that. It doesn't really get congested because, certainly not the times that we've been here, because it's not a thoroughfare that people use to get to business. Most people who work in the CBD here, there's lots of banking, finance, stuff like that. They get public transport.
Yep.
Now, Martin, we're coming up to one of your favourite locations, the Three Wise Monkeys.
That's right. Three Wise Monkeys is on the edge of Chinatown. We kind of miss Chinatown, but it's pretty good here. It's pretty bustling, and there's lots to do and see and lots of cool stuff to eat there. And yeah, Three Wise Monkeys up on the left.
Now, Martin, why have you been spending so much time at that particular establishment?
That particular establishment. Well, that was still to this day, but back in the day it was a really cool kind of music pub. So I had a band that would play there quite regularly, once every week or two or three.
I do recall one night, Martin, that I was sitting at home watching Grand Designs, having a nice relaxing time, and then my phone rang and it was Marty, and your band was playing there and needed a drummer for the night.
And it was 10 to 10 and we started at 10.
Yeah, and I jumped in whatever turbo thing I had and drove into the city, and I was in my gym jams at home watching Grand Designs. 10 minutes later, I was behind a drum kit on stage in front of about 350 drunk people.
Very drunk, very smelly people.
That was a fun night. I'm glad we did that.
No, it was good. It was fun playing there. It's just, music scene goes through waves. It, kind of goes good for a while, then it dies off, and yeah, it is fun. But staying up till 3 a.m. like every night of the week to play is pretty
Not
crazy.
ideal.
And a lot of guys I know have kind of gone, I think I'm done with being up till 3 all the time.
Now we're about to drive here. This is the action. This is the movies. We are about to drive under the monorail. So Sydney had a elevated monorail that went around the city, and they decided that they didn't want to do that, and it was decommissioned a month or so ago. Now, a bunch of other cities said that they were really interested in taking the monorail from us, and Tasmania, which is the southernmost state of Australia,
Tiny island,
where my family's from, they said that they would take it, but the New South Wales government said no. There was also plans put forward to make a kind of elevated sky garden walkway similar to what they did in New York.
That'd be so cool. That was such a good idea, but no, it's not happening. They're pulling it down and scrapping it.
They're pulling it down and scrapping it. It's a little bit conservative. There's a lot of conservativeness going on at the moment. We've got an election coming up here, and so there's a whole lot of people saying things are going to happen, but not a lot. There's an R34 Skyline. That was Rake. Was that Rake?
No, it was one of
that guy wasn't
one of
loving
Rake's mates, though.
One of Rake's mates, though.
So this Macca's is pretty popular, and so is this cinema. It's
he's the main cinema. Late on a Friday night, you'll get shanked if you're not careful.
And this KFC on this corner has no drive-through, but it is responsible for many a spew bucket.
It is. It is
filling a many spew bucket.
Yep. You've got KFC here, and then next to it you've got Gloria Jeans. Is it true Gloria Jeans is owned by the church?
I'm not sure.
I heard that.
I don't know if the church own. I think maybe the people who go to the church own it or something.
I don't know.
But you know what? I reckon that KFC could do some kind of refund system. If you bought a big bucket and you returned it full of vomit, technically they could reuse it. They could just deep fry it.
Reuse it for what?
The breakfast from the potato patties.
Oh wow!
They could.
Wow.
That's a solid business idea, man. We should copyright that.
That's almost as good as your clean and green car.
No, that was awesome.
That we later turned into Mighty Car Mods. All right, so this here is now the thick
town hall.
Town hall, Martin. Tell me about that.
Town hall, that's the town hall. All I know is there's steps on the front of it, and it's a cool place to say, hey,
yes!
It's a good place.
There are a bunch of people playing brass instruments.
Just wandering through the city.
Not a fan of saxophones.
You can meet your mates on town hall steps because it's a good place to hang.
That is where people hang out. I remember.
And this is QVB.
Doing things there. QVB, the Queen Victoria building, it's kind of a beautiful old building. I say old, but if you're watching from Europe, you'll laugh at our oldness because You know, Sydney was founded in 1788, so it's a relatively new city compared to a lot of cities out there. It's sitting right on the harbour. It is a beautiful city. Population of around 6.5 million people, I think.
Sydney?
Yep, Sydney.
Bit over, between 5 and 6, yeah.
Yeah, around that. Very multicultural city. Quite a progressive city, I would say, even though there is a bit of politics kind of clampdown. They are trying to do things like put in more bike stuff. There's more electric charging stations for cars appearing, so that's cool.
Yeah.
Where we're heading now is down towards an area called the Rocks, and then we may even have a little treat. Maybe we're going to cross the Harbour Bridge, Martin.
We may do. We may do. You know what though? Like, a lot of people who come here also realise how much influence there is from England, like at George Street.
Yes. Well,
You know,
I think in terms of immigration or whatever, the biggest proportion of imported people are from England.
Makes sense. And convicts originally, way back in the day.
And they came here on boats originally. Because everyone came on here on a boat at some stage, didn't they?
Yeah, it's true.
But it was the first boat people. They were on the first fleet, weren't they?
Well, there's boat people even before then.
Well, that's right.
Canoes.
That's right. So
this is where George Street gets a little bit more serious. This is now the kind of the business area, the business end.
Well, Marty, here's the Apple store. That's the big Apple store. Now, we've presented there a couple of times, haven't we? There's the security. Hello, boys.
Hey, fellas.
Yeah, we got a wave. He must have been at our talk.
Fix my iPhone.
Yes. Oh, your iPhone's busted, isn't it, at the moment? Down here, not a lot to see.
On the right, we have the Ivy, which is the most violent pub in Sydney.
It's a few of their security guards have been in trouble, from what I understand, for certain different things. Actually, I don't know that. But I've never been there. But it's kind of an exclusive nightclub, Maryvale Group, I think it is. They own a bunch of different restaurants and things.
Tons of
Apparently,
pubs.
up there, I've never been there, but there's a pool on top, and there's men in very short shorts that serve you drinks. Like Cabana boys.
Yeah, exactly.
Is that true?
Yep.
Have you been there?
Not for a very long time.
Were there Cabana boys when you were
It was my
there?
old job, mate.
What? Cabana boy? No, you're a banana boy. And that was in King's Cross, which is kind of the seedy part of Sydney, a couple of k's that way. Wow.
Never gets old.
So where we're going now, this is where we're actually able to drive at the moment, is normally packed full of modified cars. And amazingly, you may wonder where all the auto salon cars went, the airbrushed cars with barbarians and dragons.
That's true.
They're on George Street on a Friday night, mate.
That's true.
They're out there. I mean, while there's a lot of people, hopefully with some Mighty Mods inspiration, doing the stealthy thing, there's a lot of other people that want, a massive pair of dragons spray painted on their MR2. Mate, we're going to hang a left and we're going to go across the Harbour Bridge.
We're going up here?
Yeah, let's hang a left behind this taxi here, and we're going to go over the Harbour Bridge. What a treat!
That's an adventure.
So,
Yeah, because it's all. I mean, show car by definition
Left
is all
here,
about
mate.
looks, isn't it? You want to get as many looks as possible, and
I
if a
guess
dragon's
so.
going to get you more looks, then you put a dragon on.
Yeah, we think that, but the TRD laser kind of suggested otherwise, didn't it? Because that got more looks and probably was the most fun we've ever had in a car that we've built.
I still remember the day driving that to the city from my house all the way here. Oh man, the number of looks.
Oh yeah.
Big spoiler on the back and the flames.
Yes. I mean, I guess it's important to say, as I said the other day, just because you're getting looks is not a good thing. It's the quality of look, isn't it, Mark?
Exactly.
It's the quality of look. Now we're going to go all the way up here. Once this guy in the Civic learns how to drive, because he's even getting high beam from the taxi. He put his right indicator on to turn left. Wow, and he just almost ran someone over. Not indicative of all Honda drivers, just that one specifically, don't get upset. Marty, we're going to get in the right lane here. We're going to chop this taxi in a safe and legal
this is the
manner.
Harbour Bridge?
Yes, it is,
Right.
and we're going to turn over here. Now, the Harbour Bridge, it's a huge bridge.
It is.
How much does it weigh, Martin?
52
52 million tonnes of steel?
something like that, or 79 million, I don't know.
It weighs a lot.
It weighs a lot.
It's not 52 million, is it? But it is made out of 79% of the steel structure of the Harbour Bridge came from England. It was imported. And the rivets holding it together, Australian made. 6 million of them, Martin.
There you go.
It's 80 here, Martin. You can give it some. That's it.
Oh, I just don't want to share the same lane as that taxi.
No, you probably don't want to do that. Oh, wow. Yep. Awesome. I love this when multiple lanes just merge and there's just no lines.
There's no
I remember
lines.
first
There's
experiencing that in Paris, trying to drive there.
On that big roundabout.
Frightening. If you are a Parisian and you can drive around then hats off to you, because I found it very scary.
Or if you can walk through Paris without stepping in dog poo, hats off to you.
So much poo there. I got to say, I got a baguette and rode a bike around Paris, and then I dodged all the dog shit and went to the top of the Eiffel Tower, and I looked out, and I liked it.
Yeah, it's good.
It was good. Then I went on to Germany and Austria, Martin, and Switzerland.
Really?
Beautiful places.
I
had some trouble with the law in Austria, actually, and a few dealings with the lovely gentleman in the police there, but we sorted that out. So this is the Harbour Bridge. Look at that! Wow, this is amazing. Now, once a year, they bathe the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House in light as part of the Vivid Festival.
This is why convertibles are mad, just quietly.
Yeah, this is awesome.
Isn't that cool? I mean, I know I'm looking straight ahead, but you should look up.
I'm enjoying. Somebody, as part of the Vivid Festival, which is one of the biggest festivals Sydney has, somebody thought it'd be a good idea to get Marty and I to appear at the Vivid Festival this year. So we did that, and that went well. We had a good crowd. Martin, let's go down to Luna Park. Do we want to do that, or is that boring? Let's do that. So we're just going to change lanes. Now, Luna Park is like our kind of fun park, Coney Island kind of equivalent. It was kind of operational for a while, and then it closed down for many years, and now it's had a resurgence and has opened again. So you can go down there. It's open until 10 o'clock at night time. So we're trying to give you guys some tips in case you come to Australia. There's no other real reason to come to North Sydney. It's a business district. There's nothing happening. So crossing the bridge is awesome to get to the north side of Sydney, the Hills District, where I grew up. Boom, the Castle Hill, the Balkan Hills, the Seven Hills, Jurrell, Glenorrey, Glenhaven, Windsor. All those places are mad.
Wastelands.
What are you talking about? Now let's not start again. Because as we said, people from the Sutherland Shire, the only way they got their entertainment
it's all about
is doing things that are illegal with animals in most countries.
Back to the tourist tips. So if you do go find yourself in North Sydney, just keep going and go to Manly. We're not going there because it's too far. But you go to Manly because that's where all the other tourists are, and you can hang out with other tourists. You know, go to another country and hang out with tourists, which is still fun. What
you could do, though, is go down to Circular Quay, which is the area between the Harbour Bridge and the Opera House, and get a ferry to Manly. That's great. You can go over there and you can get some delicious fish and chips.
You can. And it is a nice beach. It is a really nice beach.
If you're in Milson's Point, once a month they have a big market on in this park here where you can buy all sorts of handicrafts and tea cozies knitted out of the pubic hair of a yeti. That is a true story. I bought one.
That is not
tasted
true.
Funky as balls, literally.
Really? A yeti.
So we're going down to the base of the Harbour Bridge now.
This is worth it for the view. This is one of the nicest views.
No one can see the view, Martin.
Yeah, but we're going to turn around and they're going to see it.
They might see it. So if you are in Sydney and you want to get some awesome photos, don't go with all the other people. Come down and say, I want to go to Luna Park, and then come down and you can get some beautiful photos. This is where people come down for their wedding photos and all sorts of cool stuff. Oh, wow. Hook it in, Martin. Turning circle.
Yeah, dude.
Fantastic.
And see that view. Now,
can you see it behind us?
Probably
Can you see it?
Probably not, but...
I read on Facebook that there may be a new diff video coming, Martin. Is that correct?
There may be a lot of things coming to this MX-5.
There's many things coming, Martin. Because it was recently tested by Drift Pig's long lost mate. Yep, go straight ahead. Who is happy to put his face on camera. Who's given us a few tips, hasn't he, about what to do?
We've put a race driver in the car and done a couple of laps of a track and identified a few weaknesses in this little MX-5, which is not surprising for a $1,500 car. It's completely stock.
Yeah.
And with the turbo, you know, it's gonna be cool.
Bang for your buck, though. It is incredible, isn't it?
And so we're going to identify all those areas, and
then
we're going to make them mad. Yeah.
And show you guys on the way how to do that. Now we're going to head back into the city, and I think it's probably worth having a quick look down in the rocks, because that's where you can get some delicious moule et frites. Is that how you say it, Martin?
Mole frites.
No, moule et frites, which is like the Belgian beer cafe. You can get mussels and chips and mayonnaise and some beer. What beer do they have there? Hogarden, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Hogarden. We're getting pulled over right now.
Yeah, we are. We'll go this way.
We're getting pulled over right now. Actually getting pulled over, Martin.
It shows you manifold pressure in your engine. Okay. It's just like between that and there's another little gauge there that's an oxygen sensor. Between those you can pick if anything's wrong with the engine, how it's running and stuff like that.
Hello, how are you?
Alright, thank you, right.
Nice to meet you too.
Marty?
Yeah, man.
Manager of the station.
Hey, man. Nice to meet you.
Well, actually just signed up for the MC.
Oh, good.
Oh, great. Yeah, on Saturday.
They were nice guys, weren't they, Martin?
They were.
Very respectful.
They were cool. I think we passed the attitude test. I think that's very important.
I think it is. Now, Martin, we are heading back down onto the on-ramp to the city.
We are.
So the tour is continuing. So we've been through the city now, down to Luna Park,
Through
into North Sydney.
That's right.
And now we're going to take the ramp back to the city. If you had an eye inside my ear hole and you could see out of it, to the left you would see the Opera House soon.
An eye inside your ear hole.
Yeah, you know.
Right.
But, alright, so, going back down towards the city, we have an interesting system here with the bridge that you have to pay to come into the city, but it's free to leave.
You can leave it for free.
What do you need, Martin?
I just did my tag. Hey, do you know that about in convertibles? You know how normally you put your tags
I
up
got
on
the tag, yep. You just hold it here?
Dude, you don't even need to hold it. You can just leave it in your center console and it'll beep.
Oh, so can I just leave it like
You
that?
can leave it there and it'll
Wow.
go off.
That's awesome.
That's really cool, huh?
Very
You
cool.
learn these things as you go on being a convertible driver.
Yeah, wow. Martin, I prefer to get in the left lane up here.
Alright, let's do that.
Personally. Now, Sydney is kind of a very, very big place. It's very spread out and it exists kind of, I don't know, it's still kind of Sydney 100 k's or the equivalent of 60 miles out west, really.
It is, yeah. The Greater Sydney goes all the way to the Great Dividing Range, which is mountains that run the whole way down the country, down the east coast.
Yeah, yeah.
And so Sydney pretty much is Sydney until you hit that.
And if you continue west of that, you get Uluru, formerly known as Ayers Rock. It's still known as Ayers Rock in some parts. Mainly tourists, but the official name is Uluru.
Yep.
That's the official name.
Back on the bridge, look at that, dude.
It's a beautiful bridge. It's great.
Everyone should see that at least once.
Now, Martin, there's a lot of animals up there, and from what I understand, there's big, bright lights on top of the bridge,
Yep.
and they attract all the moths, so all the animals go there to eat the moths.
That would
That's
make
why
sense.
there's always so many
You know
things
what? I can
flying
never
around there.
tell whether they're birds or bats. They must be
I
bats.
think they're a bit of both.
A bit of both. Scary.
It's funny that bridges kind of are quite exciting. I remember when I was in San Francisco and I hired a tandem bike and I rode it across, and it's still one of my favourite memories now. When I see that bridge in a movie, I'm like, I ride a bike over
You've
that.
been there, yeah.
It's awesome. And
Travel
then-
is one of those things, we talk about this a lot, but travel is one of those things that just, it pays itself back for like forever, you know? Like it's,
That's right,
you can
Martin.
save up and buy a slightly nicer shiny this or a shiny that, but it's really, that travel is kind of
No, it
so good for you,
it
isn't
inspires your brain. It's good for your health. Health is the new wealth, Martin.
There you go.
Health, a dollar of health is a day of good health,
Yeah,
or something.
I would agree with that.
So you're saying this is going to beep even though it's covered?
I think it will, I would
Let's
usually-
see. No, leave it closed.
I can't lift it. Dude, your arms
Okay,
on it.
I'll close it. There we
Your
go.
arms on it.
In you go. In you go.
Yes!
It beeped. I heard it. Let's go to the Eastern Distributor.
Which way?
No, this way. Right.
Yeah, good.
You went left.
That's not the
I
Eastern
said right.
Distributor.
Yeah, I said
It's
right.
the
You
Western
went left.
Distributor.
Well, that's
East
what I
is
meant.
left
I meant
and
that
that's
way.
the way
Now
I
I'm going the
went.
wrong way. All right, let's go down to the rocks and then let's stop down there. I want to get a pancake.
Alright, let's do it.
But there are pancakes down there, aren't there? Maybe some overpriced milkshake. You know, the most expensive milkshake I ever got
Yep.
was in a shot glass. It was 30 mils, and it was $17.
Why
It wasn't
would
even
you do
alcoholic.
that?
It was because it was at one of those bars down near the water.
Yeah.
And I was there because they used to play one of my albums down there at the bar down
Oh,
there.
they
So I
did
used
too.
to go down there because, you know, so I had this cruisy album I did called 1978. You can find on iTunes. It's just all very chilled, late night stuff.
It's awesome, dude.
Marty played on some of it. Around Sydney at night times, if you go to the kind of hipstery places, they'll be playing that record. And I went down there because they played it a lot. And I had dinner and I ordered a thick shake and it came in a shot glass and it was $17. Almost fell off my chair. It's ridiculous.
You're about to say you almost fell off your That's what you actually were about to
No,
say.
I wasn't. I wasn't going to say that at all.
This puts us back on George Street again, which
It
turns
puts us
into the
back
Rocks,
on
which
George
is the
Street.
oldest part of Sydney.
Is it?
Yeah.
Right. Now, the interesting thing
Hang
about...
on, no, I don't want to be quoted on that. Is it the oldest part?
Martin, we don't know. Someone's going to Google that and check it and they're going to write it in
Someone
the comments.
Google it and check it and write in the comments.
There's
It's
a
the
lot
oldest
of
part.
taxis here.
But there is.
Now-
It's the old town, isn't it? That's
It
what
is
you
the
go
old
to,
part
it's
of
the
town.
old- The Mint is the oldest building though.
Okay,
The Mint.
excellent. Spicy. Peppermint. So this road that we're on now, to the right, is the Opera House. Controversial build, but a beautiful building and it stood the test of time. I was there the other night, I saw George Benson.
Really?
You know George Benson? Give me the night.
Yeah.
Your phone's on the floor. Fell down there if you're looking
Okay,
for
that's
it. Anyway, there used to be a kind of a circuit that people in modified cars used to do. They'd come through the rocks,
Yeah.
and then behind the rocks, they would they'd go and do silly and illegal things. And so they had regular kind of lockouts. I don't know if it was all cars or just modified cars, but they weren't allowed in this area of Sydney at certain parts of the night.
They've shut down the parking, so you can't park anywhere.
And yeah, there's hardly any parking here, and they've put a lot of speed bumps and stuff in as well. So so that can't be used anymore in a car. But people on motorbikes, they're kind of those speed bumps that are split in the middle, and people on motorbikes still do high speed runs there, which is pretty dangerous.
And we're in the rocks.
And we are in the rocks. It's very quiet at the moment.
Yeah, there's some really cool little pubs and things along here too. It's not a bad spot. Good restaurants, good little pubs, places to eat. It's right on the harbour. The harbour is one block that way.
There's the Museum of Contemporary Art, where, again, Marty and I spoke there recently. A lot of people asking us to speak at things, Martin.
Yeah.
I think they think we're part of pop culture or something.
And they listen to us, which is bizarre.
Very strange. The Rocks markets are on there, I think, once a month. Make sure you check them out. There's a lot of tourist information for Sydney, isn't it? For Sydney CBD.
Yep. I played at that pub so many times when I was younger.
Oh, really?
10 till 2 and 11 till 3.
In the morning?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Wow. Martin, let's go right down under the harbour bridge. So we're going to turn right here. Down here, if you want some pancakes, there's Pancakes at the Rocks. I think it's open 24 hours.
This one is, I'm pretty sure.
Or it's open very late. So if you want pancakes, come on down to the Rocks and check that out.
It is a chain though, so you can get them pretty much anywhere in Sydney.
Yeah, and look, it's not that great. Let's be honest. Over to the right is the harbour, and it's the old docks where lots of things used to come in and out of Sydney, where lots of weddings happen as well. Where we're going now is the opposite end of the bridge to Luna Park.
That's right. Loop underneath. Lots of weddings down here.
Actually, some friends of mine from Germany came over and had their wedding right there on that grass, and I was their witness. I love Germans. I do.
There's the opera house behind us.
Oh, there's the opera house. Can anyone see that?
No, not really.
Oh, anyway, Google opera house and you'll see it.
You should take a photo of that, and then we'll still frame it.
Oh, maybe, but it might.
No,
I wonder. Actually, where's your phone?
I don't know where it went.
No, I'm going to take a photo to put in exactly what we're looking at right now.
Yeah.
So there's the harbour bridge. Your phone's so slow.
It'll
There's
work?
the opera house. Go, Martin, go. There's the opera house. All right.
That's cool.
Martin, I think it's probably time to finish our little tour.
We've pretty much done a loop, haven't we? And we've shown all the best bits.
I think
it's
so.
It's like a trailer.
So thanks for coming on a trip through Sydney. Now, this was not obviously the best of Sydney, or secret Sydney, I'm going to call it, which is the actual, like, awesome secret places that you go when you know people in Sydney, but they are the main kind of touristy things. So as a recap, Parramatta Road, George Street, straight through the city.
Yep.
Check out the shops in Broadway, head on down to George Street through the middle of the city, QVB, the Rocks, Luna Park. That's pretty wild. That's worth a photo. Go around the roundabout, Martin. Around it.
I would highly suggest,
That car's been better days.
that if you are touristing, I'm not going to do too many laps.
All right, now that way, Martin. Keep going. That's right.
I would suggest if you are touristing and you do hire a car, that on a weeknight you head through. The weekend's a bit crazy and you're not really going to enjoy it as much, but if you get a chance, do a night drive through the city and go and see it, because it is one of the cities, for a major city, that you still can drive through fairly easily, and there's lots of pretty stuff to see. And you're on the other side of the world. If you're from the Northern Hemisphere, you're on the other side of the world. Go have a look out. But we drive on the left side of the road, so don't freak out, okay?
On that,
That's ridiculous.
On that
we actually
note,
need to do something about that flutter.
On that note of the ridiculous Bov, let's leave it there and come to Australia. Check it out. Come to Sydney. Thank you very much, Martin. Good evening.
you.
Let's go get a pancake.
All right, let's do it.
Right now.
All right.
Awesome.
Let's go.